Hello, hello.
Hi, Nikki. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
What's going on?
Well, I had trouble getting in here at first because yeah, because it was having me make my own podcast. I'm thinking I don't want to do that.
Right. Yeah, no, it does that to everybody. It tries to trick everyone into joining up. It's like a weird kind of culty thing, but everyone gets through in the end, that's for sure. Well, thank you so much for joining me and being here today.
Thank you.
Let's jump right into it. Why don't you tell my listeners who the hell you are and what the hell it is you do?
Um, I do a few different things. I am a artist. I am a interviewer. I am a filmmaker, a reviewer, and a college student. But I'll be graduating in September, though.
Very nice, very nice. And you are known as Victoria G on the social media circuit, yes?
Yes.
Okie dokie. Very nice. So, what got you into doing interviews and filmmaking and all that? How did that get started for you?
Well, I've always been very big on the Hollywood world, I guess you could say.
Right, right.
So it was more of just like watching movies and shows and trying to see where I could fit in so I
Right.
could be a part of that world in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm a very good actress. I'm not a very good singer. So I just kind of went down the list of things that I can do. And I realized I'm actually good at visual art. And then that kind of transcended into going into college and majoring in animation at first. And then that particular college ended up shutting down. So I ended up switching majors to graphic design.
Mm-hmm.
And then I found that was more of like my niche. And there's a lot of different jobs you can get in that, which then led to filmmaking because for my associate's degree, I had to make a short film. So I realized I'm good at that. So I
Right.
started putting it into film festivals and stuff. And now I've made three different short films. And as for the interviewing, it was something that I started when I turned 18. And I just wanted to reach out to people on Facebook who like work at Nickelodeon, who work at Disney and stuff, and
Right.
see if they would help out this poor little college kid. To see if they
Take
want to talk to
take a
me.
chance on an unknown kid. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you know. And then they kind of, would answer the questions through Facebook Messenger, and then I started getting cocky and reaching out to George Clooney, and then he didn't answer me.
Yeah. I feel you, girl. I've been there. I've been there.
But then I just realized, you know what? If here I am small, let me help out other people who are small with my publication. And then it
Right.
just kind of grew, and we all help each other. And it's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing.
It is. It is. And here we are because I got to reach out from, well, that sounds kind of dirty, but Matt Chasson, let me know that you were, doing interviews, and I submitted one for you. And that was a lot of fun for me to kind of, be on the other side of the table,
Yeah.
so to speak. So when you reach out to people, like, do you, because I feel like it's kind of a similar thing, like I like to reach out to people that I have common interests with or I'm interested in, no matter where they are on the spectrum of industry, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter, they don't have to be chefs, they don't have to be actors, or whatever. Like, I'll talk to anybody because I feel like food is definitely the common denominator. It's like the one thing we all have in common.
Yeah, for
um
sure.
but who were some of your, you would say, maybe bucket list people that you would really, really, really want to interview?
A lot of untouchable people, you know, like big actors and stuff, big singers. Like I would like to interview Cher, but that would
All
never
right.
happen.
I know. Hey, listen, put it out there. You never know. You never know. I'm telling you. I feel like if you speak it into existence, something's going to fire back. It may not be Cher. It might be someone close to Cher. You know what I mean? Like, that kind of happens a lot. Like, especially when you go to these events in Hollywood and you've got all these people. Like, oh, like I went to one and I was like, oh, look, this is Quentin Tarantino's dad. And I was like, well, where's Quentin Tarantino? It's like everybody there is like, oh, this is so and so's roommate, or this is their cousin, and I'm like, oh, that's nice. It's like that's as close as you're gonna get, basically. But you never
I
know.
I have definitely had situations like that where I like a certain actor or something, and then I actually end up interviewing their best friend or or their sibling and stuff. But then like
Yeah.
you're kind of afraid to ask them about
Uh-huh.
that person because you want to
Right.
make them be the star of that interview, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Totally. Yeah, because you don't want to make it seem obvious that, like, you know what I mean? Because I kind of go out of my way to do that with people when I'm talking to them as well. Like, obviously, like, I approach the person because of what they do and that's what they're known for. But I would much rather just talk to the person and kind of draw out a little bit more of their, like, real personality than what they kind of put forward to the public. You know what I mean? Because I feel like sometimes if you dig a little deeper and you kind of touch on that, like, hobby or something that they never talk about, then it's like, oh, here we go. Now they're talking.
That's very true.
Yeah, totally. But that's happened to me though. Like, I've reached out. I've gotten really close to a couple people that I really, really wanted to talk to. And then at the 11th hour something happened, or it just didn't go there. But I was like, okay, like that, I still took that as a good sign. I didn't get discouraged.
Yeah, I mean, from what it sounds like, you've gotten closer than I have, because I've been kind of like dangled this little carrot in a way. Like like a good example would be the Batman movie.
Uh-huh.
I tried to get on the press tour for it, so I was reaching out to Warner Brothers. I was emailing back and forth for a good like 6 months before the film even came out,
Wow.
and I of course wanted Batman himself, right?
Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Which is of course very much not going to happen, but I tried. And I was reaching out back and forth and everything was looking great. And then Warner Brothers told me that they sent the information to his team and that if all goes great, then they'll reach out to me.
Right.
And I never heard from his team.
Right. Yep. That's as far as that went. But you know
Yeah.
what? It's a good learning curve on how it works, because that's kind of what, because I kind of tend to take the direct approach. Like, I kind of go right to the person and I kind of bypass like the management and all that. And I don't know if that's the way it's supposed to be. I don't know. Like, I'm just a chef trying to, hang out with people and just, talk about stuff. But most of the time they'll respond, and sometimes they will defer you to their management team or whatever it is, and then if they deem you worthy or not, then maybe. But it's worth a shot, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got nothing to lose, so why not? You know what I mean? Like, why not go for it?
I definitely have done that for sure. Like try to bypass management in a way.
Yeah.
But then what ends up happening is you get their manager emailing you, getting mad at you for trying to bypass them.
I know there's that weird sense of territoriality, but I kind of feel like, it's a 50-50 shot. Most of the time it works. Sometimes you're able to at least get a reply from the person themselves, and not have everything be like filtered through and, whatever. Because sometimes they're like, oh yeah, sure, I'll do it. And then other times they're like, no, they're really busy or scheduling conflicts or whatever it is. But I mean, I love doing it. It's fun. Like, I mean, for me, like, it's just something I kind of fell into doing many, many years ago with another podcast that I had. And then I picked this up during COVID, because it was a way for me to kind of reconnect with my friends and my peers, and then just other people throughout different industries and entertainment and stuff, just to kind of check in and be like, are you okay? Because I I know this whole thing put me through it. Like, let's talk, because the world is like totally changed. Did you find that you had a similar experience when you were doing interviews during that time?
Well, it was actually kind of weird because when I started doing interviews, I was doing it very seldomly. But
Mm-hmm.
like now, I post like 3 to 5 a week now.
Yeah.
But before I would post like maybe one a week or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then around 2019, I started getting, I guess, more confidence, I guess would be the word for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
And I
definitely.
started like figuring out more who to reach out to go on the IMDb, make an account on there. Because before, everything I was doing was through Facebook and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was really kind of limiting myself. So I kind of realized, okay, if I go on this site where all their agents' emails are, that makes me look more serious. Let me reach out through there. And then I was doing really well back in 2019. I had some really big people and stuff. I was feeling really good about myself. And then the world went insane.
Yeah. Yeah. Seriously.
And then I felt kind of weird reaching out to people
Mm-hmm.
because, like, what if everyone's too depressed to talk or something?
Yeah.
So I gave it a few months. And I think
Right.
I want to say I didn't interview anyone until probably like April or May of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of steered away from March because that's when the
Yeah. Yeah. That was
lockdown
like right
happened.
at the epicenter. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
for March, I stayed pretty quiet because I didn't want to look insensitive or anything.
Right. Yeah. 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 For sure.
And then I think around April or May, because I follow other people who are small people like how I am, and I just kind of took my cues from watching them. Like, okay, if here they are small like me, and if they're able to get guests, then I should feel comfortable doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
around the summer of 2020, I was getting a lot of people. And then in a weird way, the pandemic kind of helped to make my publication look better because a lot of people felt weird about just doing written questions, written answers the whole time.
Yeah.
But it kind of stemmed from the fact that I'm kind of shy and stuff. So I was afraid. Yeah. So like the whole podcast thing, I would never have the confidence to do this, to have a
Well, I mean, but you don't sound, I mean, you sound very confident though, and very, very much in your own skin. You really do. Like, you don't come off like you're like timid or shy or anything like that. Yeah. I think it comes with the territory. I think, as with anything, the more you do it, the better you get at it. And, especially with what you do and what you like to do, you're able to kind of explain it better and kind of be more comfortable with what you're doing. And, I just think that with everything that happened to all of us, it kind of put things in a weird perspective, kind of like it's now or never type of thing. Like, if we're going to do it, let's just do it. Throw caution to the wind, that kind of thing. Cause we only get one go around. So I mean, like, again, like I was saying before, like, what do you got to lose? You know what I mean? Like, it's either going to be yes or no. So
that's very true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah. But that's great though. I mean, I'm glad that it, that our paths cross, and that, it kind of puts you on the map a little bit, as it did with me too, because, like I said, I just was like, it just was so quiet. Like, everyone just retracted, because people didn't know what to do with themselves. And, then all of a sudden people kind of started coming out of the woodworks being like, you know what, I haven't really cooked anything in a while, and I think I'm going to try making some bread. And, do you have a recipe? You know what I mean? And then everyone started being like, doing things for the first time that maybe they didn't do before, or picking up those hobbies and interests and things that they were like, oh, I don't have time to do it. Now you have all the time in the world. So now what, and for me, and my end of it, like, food really kind of pulled everyone together, because everyone was just like, okay, I can't really go out. There's really not much in the store. What do I have in my kitchen? What can I throw together? And then people started reaching out being like, I'm tired of eating my own food. What the hell's going on? And then people were kind of sharing their experiences and their stories. And I think people really wanted to talk. They wanted that sense of community and communication. So I think, what we're doing as interviewers is really important, because we're able to kind of shed light on people and tell their story as well as our story. And I think it's necessary for sure.
For sure. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So keep going, keep doing it. reach out to Cher. I don't care if you get a Cher impersonator, you know what I mean? Like, you never know what's going to happen there. Cause I'm doing the same thing myself. I'm still reaching out to people that I'm like, well, you never know. They might be, feeling wily one day and going, you know what? I'm not doing nothing. I'm not doing anything for the next hour. Screw it. I'm telling you, persistence is key. Absolutely. So let me ask you a couple food questions here. Do you like to cook?
I do actually.
Okay.
I bake more than I cook, but
Mm-hmm.
I do both though. I do.
Okay. Okay. And what's your like ethnic background? Like, where's your family from?
Well, I actually just took a 23andMe thing
Oh,
a couple
wow.
weeks ago, so I know a lot more than I did before.
And
But
what did you find out? Any surprises?
yeah, like before, I always thought that I was just Spaniard, Mexican, Italian, Puerto Rican, and then
Right.
I took the DNA thing, and I found out that I'm also African, I'm Indian,
Wow.
Egyptian. I've got all this stuff in there I didn't know about.
Wow. You're so exotic.
Definitely worth it though to actually like go in and do it because I just turned 25 last month, and I thought, you
Yes.
know what? I am now a quarter of a century
Mm-hmm.
old. I
Mm-hmm.
need to know what I am before I die.
Right. We get confronted with those life questions when we
Yeah,
hit
for sure.
those milestones. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I'll be 48 in November, and I'm like thinking to myself, okay, I'm 2 years from 50, and I feel great. I'm totally fine with my age. I'm absolutely proud of myself. I have no feelings of like, shame or anything, or like, that kind of, old school feminized, don't tell people how old you are. I'm like, I'm gonna tell you because it's a miracle that I'm still even here. But like with each
Right.
state, like when you hit 30, like you're gonna be like, oh my god, I'm 30. Like you're gonna like look back. Yeah, because now it's kind of like you're tipping over to like true adulthood, right? Like you're like, okay, now I gotta like be a little bit more responsible. And you really don't. You really don't. It's not as, I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, I feel like you're as old as you feel, and as long as you still carry that core sense of self with you throughout every year, you'll be fine. So, it's a good thing that you looked into your lineage to see like where, what's really going on there. Did anything about what you found out make sense to you? Like about like, oh, okay, that makes sense that like I'm part Egyptian, or that I have that in my ancestry.
In a way, yes, because there's certain like facial features I have that I
Mm-hmm.
just didn't add up. Like I feel that like for a female, I feel like my nose is kind of big. Why is
Uh-huh.
it big? Now it makes sense.
Isn't it crazy how we critique ourselves? It's insane. It's insane. I know. And the way that we see ourselves is never the way other people see us.
That's the thing, because like I'll like talk to friends and stuff, and they'll be like, your nose is fine.
Yeah.
It's like, is it? Because I think it's really big.
You know what it is? It's because we can always see it, but the brain is just like, no. You know what I mean? It's always right there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's just it's I forget what it's called. It's like a term for like you can see it, but it's not. You know what I mean? Like it's always there. Your nose is always in your line of sight. So you're like, okay, well, what's going on here? But that's everybody.
Yeah, that's very true.
That's everyone. So that doesn't count. But I feel you though. I think we are like awfully critical of ourselves sometimes, too much so.
Yeah.
Like we need to just kind of stop. Stop putting ourselves through it for no reason. Goodness. So what do you like to bake?
I first started with the classic little Betty Crocker boxes of cake, and then
Right.
I started getting cocky, and I've made like a pineapple upside down
Oh,
cake.
nice.
I've done I did, what was it? One time I did lemon meringue one time.
Mm-hmm.
I did banana cream pie one time, banana pudding. Then I started getting really gutsy, and about a couple of years ago, I decided to make a beef Wellington.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes.
And that actually went really well, surprisingly. I did not burn the house down and no one died, so that's a good
Nice.
thing.
Nice. How was your Wellington making experience? Did you make the pastry yourself or did you buy it?
The pastry, I ended up getting it for like the little frozen section
Yes.
and in the market, but it was like a lot of I would describe it very intricate to make.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it doesn't look complicated, but then when you get in there, you're like ready to start crying because you just see all this like raw meat in front of you.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like afraid of touching raw meat for some reason. Even though I'm not like a vegan or anything like that, I just feel weird about touching something that's bleeding.
Yeah. It's understandable. It's understandable. You're not really sure exactly what's going on.
Yeah, just like the whole experience was more of me yelling and cursing, and my mother was laughing at me,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
but yet it turned out great.
Right. But that's part of cooking that people don't really acknowledge is that is the challenges that you face in the moment of putting something together. Because like it sounds like it's a good idea. You know, you come up with this thing like, oh, I'm gonna make, lobster troubadour or whatever the hell. And then, you realize like it's a little complex because then you have to get like a live lobster and what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
How are you gonna dispose of this thing? And then it becomes about like the realities of putting it together, but it's worth it because, you can really learn so much from the experience of having done it and have a bit more kind of, I guess, respect for what that is, and how it's put together. And beef Wellington is like really classic, old school, and it's delicious. It's great.
Yeah. And it's one of those things that like I rarely get it because not a whole not a whole lot of restaurants serve it, right?
Right.
Because it is so difficult to make. So I think I've had it maybe 5 times my whole life. And I'm thinking, well, it can't be that hard, right? So I think it was for like Christmas time a couple of years ago. I just thought, you know what? There's a pandemic happening. Let me just do it.
Right. Exactly.
And I made it and it worked out well. But the problem is like whenever I cook, like for example, just last New Year's, I made soup for the first time, right? And it was a tomato soup is what I made. And I thought soup wouldn't be that difficult because it's all one bowl, one pot.
Right.
But then I read the instructions and it says blender. I'm like, why I got to put it in a blender? Like, so that kind of freaked me out. And I start like getting all these fresh tomatoes and chopping it all pretty. But if there's anything that I could say, whether it's making it in a box or making something really difficult, I have a sailor's mouth in the kitchen. I don't know if that's normal. I like say every bad word in the book the whole time.
Right.
And yet the food comes out great. It's like you would never know that here I was screaming at that tomato 20 minutes ago.
Well, I mean, there's something to be said for that because it's almost like people who talk to their plants. Like it's you're giving it a certain energy and a certain passion that is, you know what I mean? And I really believe that most of the time, the way that you feel, the way you're cooking, as you're cooking, is how the food's going to turn out. So I think that the kind of like, the F-bombs and all that, that frustration is just all part of it because you're faced with all these little challenges that you didn't anticipate. But it's those things that kind of bring you the best satisfaction at the end, because you did it and you figured it out and you found your own way to it. Because a recipe really is just a guideline. It's just kind of like this is what you use and this is how you put it together. But how you use everything and put it together is uniquely you. Because you and I could have the same recipe for the same thing and it'll come out completely different.
Yeah.
Because of how our personality is, how we apply it, how we do it, but the whole point is that as long as it's delicious, as long as it's made with the best of intentions and you went for it. And that says a lot about you, that you were able to do it because a lot of people really don't enjoy the process of cooking. It stresses them the hell out, like they just don't want to do it. It is work. There is some labor involved in doing it, but also a tremendous satisfaction in having done it yourself. So, and have you made?
Sorry. What?
No, I was going to ask you: have you made other soups since then, or was that the only soup?
Only one other one I made for Halloween last year. I made a pumpkin soup.
Okay.
And then that went surprisingly better because I didn't use real pumpkin. I used the canned one.
Yeah.
So that was slightly less messy. So that was probably smarter.
Right. Yeah.
And all these all these seeds like flying everywhere. So that was smarter, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's something to be said for using what you can, like literally, like from a can, like from a bag, like it's okay. Like not every single thing has to be like from scratch.
Yeah.
unless you really want to go there and do that and you're comfortable, cooking that way. But as long as it's good, who cares?
Yeah, because like whenever it comes to the stressful side of it, like what always like what always scared me about cooking initially before I started doing it when I was in high school was the fact that someone can like drop dead if they eat something raw, right? That's always scared me. Like,
Right.
if here I am cooking, I'm gonna have to eat it, and then
Right.
I'm gonna make it for people I actually like.
Right.
So it's like now if let's say I give them a fish, and if the fish is still moving, right,
Yeah.
then
Right.
that means I didn't do my job. That means
Right.
it's raw, so someone's gonna drop dead.
Right. You're like, oh, I forgot to tell you that we're having sushi. We're having sashimi for dinner. Yeah. Yeah, totally. I'm like that with oysters. Like I mean, every once in a while, like I'll enjoy having oysters, but there is a risk that comes with it. There are people that do pass away from
Yeah.
from eating raw oysters. And so I had the tendency to like really drown the daylights out of it with like lots of lemon, lots of acidic stuff, the mignonette, some hot sauce. Like it's almost like, I'm trying to like ensure that, I'm kind of masking, which kind of depletes the whole point of eating an oyster. But there are certain things, you have to be aware of when you're when you're eating. And that's always a risk anyway, like even whether you cook it yourself or you're dining out, there's always that risk of, you might get sick. And I think that's a risk we take in everyday life anyway. So, whatever. Just roll the dice and hope you have an iron stomach.
But it's kind of weird because I've been kind of lucky too. I
Mm-hmm.
haven't like really gotten like foodborne illness or anything.
Right, right.
Like if I have to remember one time, I think I was probably, I want to say probably 15 or 16 years old, and we went to this one little restaurant, and they're a restaurant that we go to a lot, so no problems. And one of the things that they're famous for is their pies.
Mm-hmm.
So I always get a different pie whenever I go. And this time I wanted to get a lemon meringue pie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess the meringue wasn't cooked right.
Right.
But
Wow.
I was too young and stupid, I guess, to pay attention to the taste. So within 4 hours, start vomiting, all this
Wow.
stuff, right? Start feeling sick. And then I start Googling, well, the meringue wasn't cold. And apparently it has to be cold when you
Right.
eat it, but that part was really warm.
Wow.
So supposedly from what I researched, it could have been sitting out for hours probably.
Wow.
Which is basically eating raw egg.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a whole bunch of raw egg and lost weight from it, of course.
Yeah.
That was a nice
You're like best diet ever. Yeah.
but now it kind of ruined me eating that whenever I go out now.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I was gonna say, because something like that could really turn you off to it for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's happened to me. Like there are just certain things. Like I got sick from having the first time I got sick was having an undercooked hamburger from McDonald's when I was a kid. And me and all of my cousins, all of us little ones got sick. We all got sick.
Wow.
But the experience after that was eating a sandwich from a deli, and I had mayonnaise on it. And it was the mayonnaise that did me in.
Oh,
and
no.
and I mean, I was done in. It was like a cartoon. I had like red dots all over my face.
Oh,
it was insane. I was like, what the hell is going on? But yeah, I mean, I went through it. Literally went through it. But from that day to this, like I refuse to have like everything's on the side or very little. Like I won't put mayonnaise or any kind of sauce, or I just won't do it because it's like I'm the kind of person like in my luck I'll get sick. So it is traumatizing. Yeah, and it's a shame because I love it. I love sauces, I love dips and all that kind of stuff. But I'm like, yeah, I'm like, oh, let's put it on the side, and then like I'll taste it and then decide for myself if I want to put it on and kind of go there. It's terrible. It ruins things for you. I hate that. But that you live and you learn. That's how you go through life. Goodness. So what are there any like kind of family recipes that you have that you cook often?
My grandfather, he's like famous for making his pasta sauce.
Okay.
But to this day, I still haven't learned it because it's like his own little secret,
Oh, wow. Have you, I mean, is he still around?
Yeah, he is.
Have
Yeah.
you tried to make it with him, like be in the kitchen with him when he's cooking it?
I have tried like watching him do it, and I think his
Hmm.
secret is that he's singing to it.
Okay. Well, see, it's a family thing because you're cursing at your food,
Yeah.
right? Like you're chastising your food into submission, and he's singing, trying to get the best out of it, right? Like, so
Yeah.
it's kind of the same parallel. You see how that connection gets made. You see.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's the secret then to your own cooking is your blatant potty mouth. You know what I mean? I'm serious. Like that's part of what makes your food great.
Yeah.
Is because you're cursing the crap out of it the whole time. Like you better not you better not. Yeah. The teeth clenching moments.
Well, one thing that I have always thought of is if I ever have children, they cannot watch me cook.
Uh-huh.
Because a lot of people, whenever they're getting older, they like think about having kids, and they like
Hmm.
want to bake cookies with their son or something, right? Well, I'm not going to be that mother. Because if I
Right.
bake cookies with my son, he's going to learn every bad word, and then he's going to go to school and start using those words, right?
Oh, girl, he's gonna learn that anyway. He's gonna learn that whether it's from you or out because trust me, kids when they're by themselves, ooh, when they think no one's around and no one's listening, they're like truckers in a bar. Seriously, so I wouldn't even worry about that. And trust me, like you're gonna want them to know how to cook because you're not gonna want to always do it for them. You know what I mean? You're gonna want them to go in that kitchen and make themselves a freaking fracking sandwich so you can have a couple minutes to yourself. Trust me, girl. Like you ain't even gonna care. Like you're gonna drop those F-bombs, you're gonna drop all the shits and all this and who you know what I mean? Like they're not gonna care. They're gonna, ooh, mommy, ooh, yeah.
There was actually one time when my mom, she let myself and my cousin cook. We were probably like 12 years old or something,
Mm-hmm.
which we both always kind of were aware of the kitchen and safety, but we never bothered to cook because we're lazy.
Right.
And then one day she just told us, you know what? Go downstairs, make yourselves breakfast.
Mm,
Okay. We decided to do the little frozen Eggo waffles, right?
right.
So you just put it in the toaster. What's the worst that can
It
happen?
seems so simple, doesn't it? I can already tell where this is going.
We were then getting the plates ready. We're cutting up strawberries, right? Nice and healthy
Mm.
little fruit on the side.
Uh-huh.
Getting the milk, and then we smell something burning,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and the whole like tan colored waffle is now black.
Black. Yeah. And there ain't no scraping that's gonna save it either. I know.
Yeah,
I
and then
know.
my mom smells the smoke from upstairs. She's yelling, "What's going on down there?" Right? She comes down yelling at us, and that this is very dangerous. It's like, well, you should have been here. I don't know.
That's classic though. Classic. You'll never look at an Eggo waffle the same way again.
I I still eat them, but I always think, oh man, remember when?
Yeah. But those are teachable moments though. Like that's the thing. Like it's those mistakes that we make in the kitchen that teach us how to do it and what not to do. You know what I mean? Like as you remember, okay, I can't leave it. I can't do that. I can't just leave it and walk away, or I need to watch it, or I can't put it on such a high setting, or what have you. That's how you learn how to do it.
Yeah, like now I'm so paranoid that whenever I cook something, I have to be in the room with it.
Right, right, right.
Right? Like whenever for example, like if I get like a frozen pizza or something, and if I'm putting it in the oven, okay, so put it in for like 12 minutes or whatever. Most people leave it, they go do their work, they come back. I
Right.
will stand there in that room and I will watch it because now I'm traumatized and I can't leave anything.
Right, right. Do you have a timer? Do you have like a timer in your kitchen anywhere, like on the microwave or something that you could just set and then
I just use the phone. I'm very
okay, yeah, walk
like
away comfortably. Yeah.
very new wave about it,
It definitely helps. It
Oh yeah,
definitely
for sure.
helps because then this way you actually help develop your internal timer. and you'll kind of get there like a few seconds ahead of the alarm going off. You'd be like, I knew I'm on time. I beat you to it. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. What would you say is your favorite go-to meal?
Is this like for a regular day or like for
Yeah,
a
like
lazy day?
something that you well, something that you find that you make or eat frequently.
Um, Probably Hot Pockets.
What flavor?
The breakfast sausage one.
Okay, nice.
I have
Nice.
those probably a very unhealthy amount of times per week.
Hey, you know what? Don't knock it, because I got a lot of frozen food in my fridge too. It's there, sometimes you just need it now.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, like everybody's trying to act like, don't act like you don't go to Trader Joe's and stock up on that freezer stuff. Like, stop, you know, like cut it out. Like we all eat out of a box sometimes, and it's okay. Like you
and,
got to eat.
and it's actually one of the more normal things I eat, because sometimes for my first meal, my breakfasts are very strange. Like
Uh-huh.
I'll eat like a frozen green curry
Yeah,
for
yeah,
breakfast, which
yeah,
is
yeah.
really weird. Or I'll have like a leftover Chinese food for
Mm-hmm.
breakfast, which every time I tell people that, they're like, that is so college of you. That's what college kids do.
Why, thank you. Oh, the college breakfast. That's perfect. Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, I just again, like there's the whole point of breakfast is in the word. Okay? You're breaking the fast of not eating because you slept. You know what I mean? So it doesn't I feel like the whole, eggs and bacon and, cereal and all that kind of stuff, like that's really just a matter of preference. It's a matter of choice. I feel
Yeah.
like you eat what you want to freaking eat.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
it really doesn't matter. There's no rules, because I've had cheeseburgers for breakfast, girl. You know what I mean?
I have
Like
done that too. I've
you
done
eat
that.
exactly. You eat what the hell you want to eat, and be like, don't be mad because I indulge.
and in a way, it's kind of a really good diet, because then you're so full
Yeah.
that you'll kind of skip lunch, and then next thing you know, you like lost a pound throughout the day, and everyone starts hating you, right?
Yeah, you actually eat less throughout the day. Well, they say that the breakfast should be your largest meal, and that you should, technically kind of eat less throughout the day. I don't know. It depends on the day and how you're feeling, but you eat what you want, you eat what you have. You know what I mean? And I love me some curry. So, yeah, girl. If you have it, smoke them if you got them. What would you say would be a guilty pleasure meal of yours?
Oh, there's so many. There are so many things I shouldn't eat, but I eat it. But I
Right.
would say probably the biggest one, probably just a big old tub of like ice cream. Just
Yeah.
very simple, which is, it's not really a meal, but it is something that I somehow incorporate into my day,
Yeah.
even though I probably shouldn't have it so much, because I am suspicious of the fact I probably do have a very small case of being lactose intolerant.
Okay.
So I probably shouldn't have it, but I do, because I guess I'm addicted to it, and I guess I
Right.
just don't care enough to stop.
What's your ice cream flavor?
I always get like a different one each time, but my favorite one has always been cookies and cream.
Okay.
Has always been like the ultimate favorite, and every place that I go where I get ice cream, I get that flavor to kind of judge them on
Right.
their ice cream.
Based on it. Yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah.
I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because you want to see if it's up to snuff, like is it good or not? Because
Yeah.
not all ice creams are created equal.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then
Like they're
whenever
not.
COVID happened, because whenever COVID happened, they were kind of warning us to not buy foods that aren't cooked first or something,
Yeah, yeah.
just in case COVID is like resting in the food. So I didn't eat ice cream for a good like 6-7 months. I had no ice cream because I was afraid, because here it is like this raw substance from the freezer.
Right.
Like what if someone coughed on it, right?
Well, it's so terrible. No, because people were doing that though. People were
Yeah.
being stupid, and they were like going into the freezers and refrigerated foods, and they were opening them up and coughing on them and then resealing them and putting them back. But then, like idiots, filming themselves doing it. Like people like really were losing their freaking fracking minds. Like I was
I
like,
I
what
remember that.
what
Yeah.
is this madness going on? But yeah, no, yeah. But there was a lot of fear mongering during that time too, because we just didn't know what was going on, and everyone just became afraid of everything, so it took the joy out of out of those simple pleasures. You're like, dude, let me have my ice cream, man. Like I can't even have ice cream. Like, are you kidding? Like the world really is coming to an end. Like, what the hell? Craziness. Oh my god. What would you Okay, so do you eat out a lot? Do you like get takeout and stuff like that?
Maybe like once, twice a week on average.
Okay, what would be your favorite type of food to get like for takeout, or your favorite place to eat?
Um, Mainly like probably Mexican food seems to
Okay.
be like the main go-to is like a Taco Bell or something like that.
Yes. Yes.
Which I know is so bad for you.
Well, again, like I love me some Taco Bell. I do. There's just, I think there are times and places for things, and you like what you like. Like some people really enjoy Jack in the Box. I don't really like Jack in the Box. Like I don't. I don't know. I just feel like everything from there is just kind of like. But I do love me some Taco Bell, and people will say the same thing about Taco Bell. Like Taco Bell's kind of, and I'm like, well, I like it. But so I get it. I totally understand. But no, I love Spanish food from every ethnic country, because I love food and I love to eat, and I feel like Mexican. My grandmother, rest her soul, she passed away last October. A few years ago, she asked me like what were some of my favorite things to cook, and everything I listed off was Mexican, and she's Colombian. So
Mhm.
she took it as like blasphemy. She's like, I mija, like that's not everything's Mexican. Like where's the Colombian food? Like she just is like yelling at me because and plus that's because I've lived out here in California for so long. It's like it's not really. I think now I'm finding a bit more diversified Latin cuisine. Like there's more Colombian restaurants and Nicaraguan places, and some Puerto Rican places are really popping up. But it is predominantly Mexican.
Yeah.
And I feel like you can never really be unhappy in a Mexican restaurant. I feel like if you're sitting there with a plate of Mexican food and a tequila and you're still down, like, there's no helping you, man. Like it's time for therapy and possibly some medication. No, I hear ya. I hear ya. All right, let's see. All right, let me get to my James Lipton question here. This is the question that I ask every guest that's on my show, because I feel like it's a really great question and a way to kind of get to know your personality a little bit more than we already have. So if you could describe yourself as an appetizer, entree, and dessert, what would you be and why?
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, I know. I can hear the wheels turning and cranking in your brain.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they are.
You're like, oh,
Starting to smoke up here.
I know. The house is burning down. Yeah.
For the okay, I'm gonna try to go in order. So for the appetizer, I would say I'm like a 7-layer dip
Nice.
because there's so many layers to me.
Yes.
I would say for the entree, that I am. Oh God. I like want to sound classy, but I know the answer is just going to be so Americanized here. Let me think. Because my first thought is like a prime rib, but that's like not true.
Right. I know, right? I hear ya.
Probably let's say a burrito
Nice.
because all those layers in me from before, you mix them up, right?
Yeah.
You get a whole mouthful of me.
Right. That sounds really dirty, but very delicious at the same time.
And then for the dessert, I would say I am a banana split sundae.
Okay.
Because people have told me I'm funny, so I split their sides.
Ah, I get it. There's a pun in there. I see. Because you're a side splitter. Got it.
Yes.
Again, very dirty, but I like it. She's a mouthful and a side splitter. That's so the title of this podcast, by the way. Just so you know, she's a mouthful and a side splitter with Victoria G. That's it.
That sounds like a very dirty film or something, but I would definitely watch it.
Hey, listen, that's what I'm saying though. Like you're intrigued just by the title. You're like, wait a minute, she's what now?
Most views you will ever have, right?
She's what and what at the same time? This girl's talented. Absolutely. No, because that's usually how I go about it. Like I don't really know what the hell I'm going to title the show until after the interview or in process. And there's usually always something that comes out of it that I'm like, that's it. That's the title. So that's the title. just forewarning you now, so when you see it, you're not like, oh my god. Like, can we edit that? No.
It's here to stay.
Yes, they'll understand why when they listen to it. Indeed. And where can people find you on social media?
I am at Hello Victoria G on everything, and I am at Telecinephiles as well, because that's my company. And I also have at Telecinephile Inspirations, which is on Instagram, where I post each day a show or movie that inspires me.
Very nice. Very nice. And do you have any upcoming projects or anything that you want to mention or shout out, talk about, anything like that?
I am going to be writing a review of a concert coming up next week. I have a concert I'm going to on Sunday at the Roxy.
Nice.
And I've been a fan of this band for like almost 10 years since they first came out. They're called New Hope Club.
Nice.
And I'm finally going to see them in concert after so long. So I'm very excited. And I reached out to Hollywood Records to see if I could write a review, and they said yes. So that's my most latest thing that's different coming up.
Right. See, that's what you got to do. You got to think outside the box and just be like, you know what? Hey, check it out. Very cool. Awesome.
And then, of course, just a bunch of like different interviews and stuff, because I'm still very backed up. I have people that I interviewed back in May, and I still haven't published theirs yet because I'm like really behind.
Right. But but that's a good thing. It's a good thing to be busy.
Oh yeah, it is.
You know,
sure.
That's great. Well, listen, Victoria, I want to thank you so much for taking time out and hanging out with me today. It was so much fun talking to you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, and we will be seeing you around the socials, Miss Side Splitter.
It was fun.
She's definitely a mouthful. I can tell you that. All right, Mama. I'll see you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Meow, meow.
Have a good one.